A bear becomes hooked on cocaine and goes on a murderous rampage after a drug dealer drops duffel bags of the drug from an airplane into the woods. This is exactly what the two-word title says it is. No more, no less. It is very loosely inspired by a true story. Now, while it is true that a bear ate a lot of cocaine that was dropped from an airplane in the 1980s, that is where the similarities end. The real bear, now a stuffed bear, that died from the cocaine ingestion is currently on display just a few miles from my house. That's pretty cool. If you were seeing a movie called Cocaine Bear, you probably know what you're getting into. It's very tongue-in-cheek, like Snakes on a Plane or Sharknado. The actors, the writers, and the directors all know how ridiculous the concept is, and they make the most of it. Now, this isn't a great movie, but it is one that I could see gaining cult status. All of the cast comically overact and overdo their southern accents. Many of those characters' accents remind me of the accents in the great horror comedy Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. Now, there are too many characters, there are too many subplots, and each character usually has one or two traits which makes them stand out, not seem so one-dimensional, but they're still very one-dimensional. And I laughed quite a bit more than I expected to, sometimes from a visual gag and sometimes from a line that a character would say. Now, this is a traditional horror film where most of the characters are there just to be introduced and then immediately murdered. My favorite of the cast was Margo Martindale as the confident, crotchety, ineffective, horny park ranger. The film started off fairly tame, but as it went along, the bear started killing folks in a more gruesome way. Nothing is over-the-top gross. Most of the gore is played for laughs. The theater was pretty empty when I saw this, but I imagine it would have been much more fun to see in a crowded theater where people were cheering and laughing throughout. Now, all of the characters are caricatures, but it just works in this type of movie. This is Ray Liotta's last film, and he plays an almost cartoon version of one of his famous gangster characters. Elizabeth Banks took an insane concept that is based very loosely on real events and turned it into a movie that is way more entertaining than it should be. It probably isn't going to win any awards or be something I need to rewatch over and over again, but I really enjoyed the absurdity of it. Every once in a while, it's good to watch a movie that just doesn't take itself too seriously. Ambulance chasers, cocaine showers, hiding from a bear behind a tree. Ray Liotta is an 80s drug lord, screaming.